Let me guess. Every night you lay in bed, you're tossing and turning, and you don't know why. Your mind's distracted, you're overthinking, and you can't get to sleep. Trust me, I've been there myself, but I was able to completely transform it and allow myself to fall asleep within 5 minutes, consistently. Today, I'm going to unveil the curtain to you and show you exactly how you can fall asleep in less than 5 minutes, no matter how you are feeling that day. Let's dive into it.
So the first thing we need to understand is the philosophy. And what that is short-term relief versus long-term gains. And the question I ask you is this: do you want to have short-term temporary relief where maybe you can get to sleep very quickly, maybe in the short term? Or do you want to have a lifetime of being able to get to sleep without having to rely on any crutches, any bandage, temporary solutions, like a lot of the medical model does, where you just pop a pill and then you feel better? I'm going to address both. How I see it as a hybrid approach. First, we want some relief care for you to just feel good temporarily. And in the meantime, while you're doing that, you're building up your backup generators in your body to build up all these systems. So naturally, you can fall asleep really well because there's probably something that's happening in your body why it's feeling this way. Of course, check with your doctor, but I'm seeing so much of this with client upon client, especially when we run lab testing on them. So the first thing is our brain. Our brain is, there's a lot of different elements that are combined with this. One of the reasons why you can't get to sleep is because we have different brain waves. There's brain waves that make us feel relaxed and peaceful and want to sleep. And then there's brain waves that make us feel extremely stressed, fast thinking. We couldn't shut our mind off. It feels like our brain is running in sixth gear and we just can't rev it back down to first gear. And there's a big component of that. And one of them is brain waves. How do we slow those brain waves down and bring them back down into the state we want so we can fall asleep within 5 minutes? And the number one you probably heard about is meditation, but everyone knows there's benefits to meditation. But if you're just stuck looking at a wall or closing your eyes, most people are just stuck thinking in their thoughts and they're not actually meditating. So what is a shortcut or a hack that we can utilize for this in order to shortcut it for any beginner, any level? Someone can just start using it today and start seeing results right away. And what that solution is an application on your phone that's called Brain.fm. And what Brain.fm is going to do, it's out on the Apple Play Store, it's also on the Android. What the Brain.fm is you wear over the ear headphones and you connect it to your phone and making sure those headphones are wired. And what you do is you set any frequency on there, which will be focus, one might be creativity, one might be chill, and one might be sleep. You can put yours into that sleep mode. And one thing I've noticed, within 15 minutes, if somebody couldn't get to sleep within 1 or 2 hours, within 10 to 15 minutes, all of a sudden those brain waves will go from, a brainwave state of, gamma, which is extremely fast, and we'll be able to downshift and rev and really allow them to relax all the way to theta or delta, and they'll feel extremely relaxed. And this is for some people who, maybe potentially to wind down, they would have alcohol or they would take sleeping pills or something like that to just relax them. Sound can just be such a natural beneficial effect, and it doesn't really have any side effects compared to, pills or alcohol, which actually decrease your sleep. And so by doing this, you'll actually increase your deep sleep and your REM sleep, which is so important the next day, so your mind is able to perform at its peak potential. So that's the one thing. Get this, download it. I think the initial trial is free. If you we'll put some links down below so you can try it out for yourself at a discounted link, as I do have an affiliate with them. You can just decide to do that if you want, but totally cool if you don't. Just want to let you know because you can get a discount on it. Next one is your brain neurotransmitter. So yes, we have our brain waves, but we also have our brain neurotransmitters, our ability to focus, our ability to feel happy, our ability to, concentrate, to have memory, but also have to have breaks on the brain. So if our mind is racing, what are those? Maybe we have too much dopamine that's causing us to just think constantly. Maybe we don't have enough serotonin, or there might be some kind of an imbalance there. It's very complex, our brain, and I'm oversimplifying it here, but I just wanted to give you the overarching idea. What we can do is introduce specific neurotransmitter precursors to allow our brain to relax more instead of being in this agitated, overthinking state. So dopamine is usually focus, serotonin is happiness, GABA is, sort of the brakes in the brain. GABA is whenever, we drink alcohol and we feel that relaxation feeling. That is our GABA neurotransmitter being activated, but we can actually supplement with this one naturally. We have acetylcholine, which is, sort of memory, muscle control. We have glutamine and norepinephrine. These ones are a little bit more complicated. I won't go into it too much, but just to keep things simple, these are the main ones you want to typically look at. Now, how do we get to sleep fast? What are the big neurotransmitters that we need to get into that, rest and really sleepy mode within a matter of 5 to 10, 15 minutes? And those ones are going to be GABA and serotonin are going to be your best friends. Now, how do we do, supplement serotonin? Do we just supplement with GABA directly or serotonin directly? Yes and no. In terms of GABA, what I would definitely take a look at, and again, check with your doctor with all this, with supplements, with your medications and everything like that. So this is definitely a health warning. Supplements is not something you want to play around with, but if you feel comfortable, this is, at your own risk. So just to let you know, one is called Pharma GABA. And what I personally like in chewable, usually chewable form. It can come in a lot of forms in the chewable form, but that's a great one because when you chew it, it can enter directly into your bloodstream, opposed to capsules where you have to wait for it to digest. If you have digestive issues, there could be some absorption issues there. And when you eat it, it just directly goes under your tongue, goes into your bloodstream, and you'll feel the effects a lot faster. And that's what you want before you go to sleep. Regarding serotonin, again, at the same time, you have to definitely check with your doctor to make sure it's okay. But there is one that's a precursor to serotonin. It's called 5-HTP. 5-HTP usually goes very well with vitamin B6 to help with its absorption. But this can also help you feel relaxed as well. Another one that you can take a look at, I'm going to give you guys a bonus one right here, is you can take a look at one that's naturally occurring inside of green tea. And this is called L-theanine. And with L-theanine, when we do it, again, chewable capsules I prefer the most, and ask me about brand if you like, or personal recommendations based on you, or we could do a free assessment and we can really find out exactly what the best ones for you might be, because it's always case by case and in certain amounts. How do you know what the dosage you should take is? Theanine is really good, and minimal side effects that I've noticed with people, maybe 5% of people I've worked with have any negative side effects at all, but any of those would potentially just be feeling too relaxed, or some people might feel more spaced out. But if you're close to bedtime, maybe it's not so much of a bad thing. So those are the quick supplements that you can do. But again, these are going to be short-term relief. Where is the long-term gain actually going to come from? Well, I'll give you a little example. For example, another thing I didn't mention here, it's not really a neurotransmitter, but melatonin. Melatonin is known as the sleep sort of hormone, as you probably heard of. Well, a lot of melatonin is not produced in our brain. Some of it is in our pineal gland, but the majority of it is actually produced inside of our gut. Well, what happens if our gut's not working properly? What happens if our gut, which we're going to get to in the body portion here, is, the gut bacteria isn't working as it should? Now you don't have the building blocks to create melatonin. And what about if the absorption of the foods you are eating is not able to properly take place? Even if you're eating healthy foods, because your gut is just a mess, now your brain can't even get the building blocks for melatonin. Now you don't feel sleepy. When you don't feel sleepy, your mind's going to start racing more. And so we want our body to just naturally produce these things without the aids at all. And that's the ultimate goal. These are really just relief care, again, to supplement an already good existing diet, to supplement, short-term things. Melatonin to supplement is great if you're traveling, maybe you're stressed, but if you're taking it every night, you can build a tolerance. And again, it's about the principle of getting to the root cause of where is this actually coming from. So that's what I just want to let you know, that this is just short-term things you can start doing now, but there's definitely a longer-term approach to this. The next one with the mind is the subconscious mind. Again, the brain is extremely complex, and I'm oversimplifying it here, but we have our brainwaves, we have our brain neurotransmitters, and then we also have an area of our mind called the subconscious mind, where, we've probably heard of this before, and, on average, we have about 60 to 70,000 thoughts per day. Those thoughts will create a chemical reaction in your brain and in your body. And those chemical reactions in your body could be a stressful response, or it's going to be a positive response. And so if we're constantly thinking these negative thoughts, we're going to start having this constant ongoing cortisol and adrenaline happening within our body. That feeling of, with our stomach tightening, we might be sweating, our heart might be racing of what we have to do the next day, or all these external stressors that are coming in on us. There's just so much happening. So getting figured out with our brainwaves and our neurotransmitters are definitely going to help with that. But what we have to keep in mind is our subconscious mind is really what drives us. Our conscious mind is important, but a lot of the time we try to overthink our problems. We can think our way out of our problems, but our brain is extremely smart, and it's also very, we do have a monkey mind, a reptilian mind that's, evolved over tens of thousands of years. Because of that, we really have to have the right inputs and the right outputs inside of our mind. And what we do with the subconscious mind is we want to let go a lot of forms of trauma or any just garbage in our brain that's potentially holding us back. That, it's working in the background and we're not even aware of it, but it just drives so many of our behaviors. And that's why we can feel anxious and we don't know why. It might not be an anxious, circumstance that we're in, but we can just feel our body is anxious. And this could be something from the past that doesn't have to be super traumatic, but it could just be something that you have to let go, whether in your body or your mind. So there's a couple things I'm going to give you. The first one is an hour before bedtime, take a look at doing a journal. Journaling is great. Journaling is also going to help with your REM sleep. Imagine everything that was in your mind an hour before bedtime. You just go to a cathartic state where you just brain dump everything onto that piece of paper. It doesn't even have to make sense. It could be a drawing, it could be random words, it could be what you have to do the next day. Put no judgment on it. Just do it on a blank piece of paper or within a journal. And what that's going to do is put all that down and now going to give your brain a lot more bandwidth to sleep and to consolidate memories from the past and so much more. So when there's less garbage happening in your brain, your brain and your body have a great inner healing mechanism where everything can start to recover a lot more. So don't discount that. So that's journaling. That was the mind. Now so let's go a little bit into the body. Now again, very big oversimplification, but I want you to know this is within the body, one of the biggest things are hormones. There's cortisol and there's adrenaline. These things will be a massive detriment if you're falling asleep. This could be for a couple reasons. I didn't put it in here. That'll be a topic for another video, but it could be because of caffeine. You're having it too late in the day. You could be sensitive to caffeine. You may have had too many cups of caffeine earlier on in the day. It could be all these factors, and it's all based on, are you a fast metabolizer or are you a slow metabolizer of caffeine? And we can figure that out through genetic testing. If you're interested in that, again, let me know. For the purpose of the video, though, I want to let you know that what we can do with cortisol and adrenaline to really bring these things down is a short-term relief that we can use is, again, another supplement. Again, with this stuff, check with your doctor. But it's a form of supplements called adaptogens. And what this is going to do is help you adapt to the stress. So if your stress is too high and your cortisol and adrenaline are elevated too much, it's going to bring it back down. If it's too low, it's going to bring it back up to what it should be. So some of my favorite ones for this, I'm going to give you, there's many, but I'm just going to make it really simple for you guys. One is called ashwagandha, and the other one, which is really good, and you can make sure you get a very high quality brand for any of these supplements. And again, check with your doctor. Ashwagandha is one, and then the other one that's really going to help modulate some of this. There's a few, but one that I also like is holy basil. For some people, holy basil is going to be stimulating at nighttime, but for the majority of people, it is going to be very relaxing. You can do it in tea form, you can do it in a tincture. Usually with these ones, it's just going to be capsules though, and make sure it's bioavailable for you to do it. So try those two out, and you could probably take that an hour or 90 minutes before bedtime. Empty stomach or food, if you have negative side effects from that, taking it with food can sometimes dilute that, and starting with that might be more beneficial. But if you can't tolerate it on an empty stomach, usually the effects can be more powerful. But again, feel what your body needs best. Be very careful with this stuff. The next is the gut. Now, the gut is more of a long-term solution. It goes into what I was saying before, though. You see, if we have gut parasites, if we have gut dysbiosis, there's more bad bacteria than good bacteria, more bad guys than good guys in our gut. These are a lot of the building blocks that our body needs to turn the food's nutrients into ammo for our body to use for energy, for focus, for relaxation, for creativity, for flow, for performance, which translates to more money in your business, more deeper relationships, and all these other things. We have to go back to first principles, just like Elon Musk says a lot of the time. And how we do that is going to the source of, like, where is this energy input coming from? This goes into the Krebs cycle, ATP, and everything else. But what I want to tell you is when it comes to the gut, we really want to get our gut in check. So one thing that we can do to help fall asleep, more of a long-term thing, is we can have a probiotic. Probiotics are very good to help us, and there's many different strains. Reach out to me if you're looking for a certain one in your circumstance. Speaking broadly and generally, this is more cookie cutter. Probiotics can be very good. The other one is for our gut, is to ensure that we have proper gut digestion. So with foods that we are eating, we want to take a look at digestive enzymes and making sure that it's a good high quality brand there. It's going to help digest those foods and make sure those nutrients will be able to break down enough for our body, our hormones, and our brain to use in the best way possible. Because if it's not able to assimilate the nutrients, we could be eating all the right food. A scary example is some people have parasites. Parasites can be, we went down to a third or second world country, but it can even be if we were swimming in our local lake, we got, ate contaminated fish from the grocery store. A lot of these parasites that we eat can stay in our gut for decades, I see it at a time. And what they do is, even if you're eating healthy food, they will take the nutrients of the food that you are eating, but now it steals it from your body. Now your body can't assimilate that for for your energy, for hormones, brain neurotransmitters, for your thyroid gland, and all these other bodily functions that are so important to your health, for your performance, your well-being, and a lot more than that. So that's everything in this video. If you want to take a look into looking under the hood of your biology, seeing how your inner machinery works and getting closer to the bottom, there's really no pressure at all. Take a look at the link down below. You can see how we might potentially be able to help you. But again, no pressure. We're working with a lot of people right now. But if that is something that you're potentially interested, if you're a high performer looking to really optimize, definitely click the link down below and we'll see what we can do. All right, guys, Riley signing out here, and we'll see you in the next video. Bye for now.